1989 was what some might call a good year for movies. The top grossing flicks could read like anyone's favorite 80s movie list. Batman, Lethal Weapon 2, Rain Man, Ghostbusters 2. You could even include Tango and Cash on my list. But only one 1989 release brought back the iconic bullwhip and fedora. Indiana Jones returned to the big screen in a blockbuster adventure full of humor, heart, and amazing stunts. Set in 1938, our hero sets out to rescue his father, a medievalist who has vanished while searching for the Holy Grail. Following the clues in Henry Sr.'s cherished notebook, Indy travels to Europe, reuniting with old allies while fighting off new Nazi foes. So dust off your fedora, crack the bullwhip, and take a leap of faith with Gerry D, Nicholas Pepin, Chad Sheppard, and I as we discuss Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade on this episode of the 80s Flick Flashback Podcast. Welcome in, everybody, to the 80s Flick Flashback Podcast. I am your host, Tim Williams. It's time to choose wisely, and I've chosen three of my favorite co-hosts to join us for a quest to discuss one of the greatest adventures of all time. First up, he's a man who has studied the history of 80s cinema with more passion than Indy's father studied the Grail Diary. He knows that X never, ever marks the spot when it comes to bad movie takes. It's the wise and knowledgeable host of Totally Rad Christmas. It's Gerry D. How you doing, Gerry?
Well, I think I've been pretty good so far. That's terrible. That was a terrible Connery. I'm good. How are you?
That's all right. That was all right. Next, joining our fellowship is a podcaster who can navigate the booby traps of bad movie tropes and inconsistencies without misplacing a single step. Please welcome from Pop Culture Roulette, Mr. Nicholas Pepin. How you doing, Nicholas?
It's all right, but, sometimes X does mark the spot.
It does. And finally, completing our team, this man is the Sala of many podcasting adventures, always ready to jump into action, even if it means dealing with a few rats in the catacombs. It's local DJ and 80s flick enthusiast, Chad Sheppard. How you doing, Chad?
You were named after the dog?
We named the dog
Sala,
Indiana. So. Yeah.
I was trying to do Sala. That was
there you go.
A bad impression of Sala.
It works.
Yeah. So I am thrilled to crusade into this. One of my all-time favorite movies.
Okay, cool.
So good.
I mess up that joke.
Oh, well. That's all right.
It's going to be
We're
going to
mess up
guys.
plenty of times. I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Yes. So thanks everybody for listening. We're so glad that you're here as we talk about which I will probably say is my favorite of the Indiana Jones. I know that's probably a hot topic. There's a lot of debate whether which one is better, Raiders or Last Crusade. I think Last Crusade just barely edges it out for me, but
you're not taking Kingdom of the Crystal Skull?
Definitely not.
There's only three. There's only three indie movies.
There's only three that matter. The last one, what was it? The Dial of Destiny. It wasn't terrible, but I liked it when I saw it in the theater, and then when I tried to watch it again, I got so bored, I had to turn it off.
Yeah, it's more boring than anything else, which is worse.
Yeah.
I didn't like the actress. I did not like her.
Yeah.
She was not appealing to me. No.
Sometimes the cast can hurt you. Yeah. All right. Well, let's jump right in. We got lots to talk about, and I got a lot of people to ask their opinions. So it's a full episode with three co-hosts. So here we go. We will start with Gerry, since he introduced first. When did you see Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade for the first time?
I saw it in the theater in 1989.
Yes, you did.
It was awesome. I remember because the mall, it was La Plaza Mall. It used to have a movie theater, and then somewhere in like the early 90s, they got rid of it. And, they built more stores or whatever. But I remember we went to the mall to see this movie. And I remember there was posters for Back to the Future, like 2 or 3. I think it might have been 3. 3 was like coming. coming
Yeah,
out next.
2 was out,
So
or yeah.
so there was like standees for 2 and then like a poster for like 3 coming soon.
Oh, wow.
And I remember being very excited. It was like, this is awesome. And seeing it in the theater, and I loved it, man. This was great. It didn't have anyone ripping out people's hearts. It felt like Raiders. It was just really cool. And then knowing that like James Bond was Indiana Jones's dad, I mean,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
please. So yeah, I saw this back in the theater in 1989.
Very cool. What about you, Nicholas?
Somehow I did not see this one until a rental.
Okay.
Now, like you pointed out with the 89 was a packed year in the theater.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
it
I know
was.
that a lot of the movies you talked about I did see. So it must have been just a decision on my parents' part to be like, no, we've already seen too many. I don't know, but I saw it and we rented it. And I mean, it's not hard to say this one's my favorite of all 5 of them. But
Yeah, good choice. All right, Chad, you're up. When did you see it for the first time?
I unfortunately did not see it in the theater in '89. I vividly remember my parents telling me we're going to go see the new Indiana Jones movie.
But not you?
It's rated PG-13. I was 10,
Okay.
so
So
they're
close.
like, you're not 13,
Right.
so we have to go
right.
see this. So I don't think I went to the theater. We rented it and watched it from local video rentals and whatnot. And
Little did they
Yeah.
know that it was less terrifying than 2, which was rated
Yeah.
PG.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I saw that one.
Right.
Right.
Not in the theater, but we saw that a lot. We rented that one or borrowed it from a friend or whatever it is.
Yeah, I saw this one in the theater. I don't think I saw it when it first came out. I think I saw it later, and I'm not sure why, because this one came out fairly early. This came out on Memorial Day weekend, so
Mhm.
maybe I was too jazzed about getting ready to go see Batman. Like I knew
Batman.
that was coming out like the following week or whatever.
Yeah.
But I do remember seeing in the theater, and just from the opening sequence was like I was locked in from the opening. Like it had me from the get-go. So, but yeah, I've seen it so many times. So when was the last time you watched it before rewatching it for the podcast? We'll go the opposite order this time. So Chad, you can go first.
It was a few months ago we did Indiana Jones. It was right before the Dial of Destiny came out. We skipped, of course, the Crystal Skull, but we watched all 3 of the original movies in preparation for Dial of Destiny, which, like we talked about, it was not the best.
Right.
And then we watched it a couple weeks ago as well.
Okay.
So yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I used to watch it. Like it's probably my 3rd favorite movie of all time. Legit.
Back to the Future being number 1. We already know.
Of course.
Yeah.
Dude. Of course.
All right, Nicholas, what about you? How long has it been?
it's been a few years, but I mean, it's one of those, like, I've seen it more than once, like it is. Every so often I'll pull, like, I think when we did Temple of Doom a couple years ago,
Yeah.
like I probably watched it then. Because I
Mhm.
was like, I already watched that one. I might as well finish it off. But Lego Indiana Jones, I've played through the movie a lot of times.
Mhm.
Yeah, on the Lego.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
the Lego video game version of it. But yeah,
Gotcha. What about you, Gerry?
So I saw this movie about a month ago. I usually watch this one about once every like 1 to 2 years. So yeah, I saw it again about a month ago, and it was great. My son came and watched it with me, and yeah, good times. He was a little scared of when the guy gets his head cut off. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen it. When with the big blade, he got a little nervous there, and then when the guy disintegrates as well. But other than that, yeah, it was about a month ago.
Well, at least that's toward the end, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
yeah,
he
yeah.
caught most
So,
of it and was
you'll be pretty much
jazzed.
had him.
So
Yeah, it's been a couple, like, since I've watched it from beginning to end, it's probably been a good couple of years. I would say yes, I did rewatch them before seeing Dial of Destiny, now that I think about it. But before that, it was probably before Crystal Skull came out that I actually sat down and watched it all the way through. But, every once in a while they'll run the marathon on Paramount TV or the Paramount channel or whatever. And if I catch it on, I'll watch, as much until the next commercial. I hate watching movies with commercials now. It irritates me, especially if I own it. I'm like, why am I going to sit and watch commercials? Why am I going to watch a 2-hour movie for 3.5 hours? Well, with the commercials, like it totally takes you out of the experience, and I get real bored. So, all right, well, let's jump into story origin and pre-production. I had to kind of, how should I say, paraphrase a lot of this because there was a lot. I did not realize how many different story revisions this movie had. There were some very different ideas and what it evolved into. So here we go. The path to Indiana Jones' third adventure was as winding and treacherous as any ancient temple. Following the mixed reactions to Temple of Doom, director Steven Spielberg and creator George Lucas knew they needed to recapture the spirit of Raiders of the Lost Ark. Their initial concepts, however, wandered far from the familiar desert landscapes. Lucas first pitched a haunted mansion, an idea Spielberg quickly dismissed as too similar to their previous collaboration, Poltergeist. The journey then took a truly bizarre turn with a concept titled Indiana Jones and the Monkey King, which saw Indy battling a ghost in Scotland before venturing to Africa in search of the Fountain of Youth. Which, didn't they just do a Fountain of Youth movie on Apple Plus? Anyway.
Yeah, it was not good.
Yeah, another movie that I didn't finish because
John Krasinski and
I was bored.
Natalie Portman, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Great cast, terrible movie.
Yeah.
Moving on. A script was even penned by Chris Columbus featuring a cannibalistic tribe, a Nazi sergeant with a mechanical arm, and Indy himself being killed and then resurrected by the mystical Monkey King. But the script's outlandish plot and problematic depictions led Spielberg and Lucas to abandon it, feeling it was just a little bit too unbelievable.
What?
You don't
Chris
say.
Columbus?
Yeah.
I mean, Gremlins is believable. Come on.
Well, because,
Yeah,
the
for real.
rest of the Last Crusade is very believable.
For sure. Yeah, we'll get into it. So feeling lost, Spielberg proposed a new direction, introducing Indiana's estranged father, Henry Jones Sr. Lucas was hesitant, wanting the mystical Holy Grail to be the focus, but Spielberg saw the potential for a powerful story. The search for the Grail could mirror Indy's search for his father's approval and a deeper connection. This breakthrough led to a series of new scripts. Early drafts saw Indy searching for his father in exotic locations, battling demons and a female Nazi leader, yet the story still hadn't found its heart. It was writer Jeffrey Boehm, who wrote Inner Space, who insisted that finding Henry shouldn't be the climax, but the midpoint of the movie. This shifted the focus from a simple quest for an artifact to a profound journey of reconciliation and understanding between father and son. With the father-son dynamic firmly in place, the final pieces of the puzzle began to fall, many inspired by the actors themselves. The legendary Sean Connery, cast as Henry Sr., infused the character with a comic charm that reshaped the script. The film's iconic prologue showing a young Indiana Jones was a nod to the creator's own lives, from Indy getting his chin scarred just as Harrison Ford had, to naming the hero after Lucas's beloved dog. Spielberg, a former Boy Scout, even gave young Indy his own scouting history. Through numerous rewrites, characters were refined, villains were swapped, and the treacherous Grail trials were expanded. What emerged from this long and winding creative process was not just another adventure, but a story with immense heart, a tale that proved the greatest treasure of all wasn't a cup, but the bond between a father and a son. And scene.
That was almost a shed a tear there. That was nice.
That'll be my next monologue for my next part. And
Wrote it down so I wouldn't have to remember.
Yeah, that was a great line. That's such a great line. You don't remember? I wrote it in my book so I wouldn't have to remember. Yeah, man. So much fun. So much fun.
Yes.
So there was, the Monkey King. I mean, that would have been so outrageous.
That's trippy,
I mean,
man. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but it was funny because reading some of the stuff, I'm like, the stuff that you abandoned, it seemed like you kind of brought back for Crystal Skull.
Yeah.
Like all the really weird kind of totally unbelievable stuff is like, Lucas is like, I'm going for it. Spielberg wouldn't do it last time. I'm going for it. So I don't know. It's kind of weird.
I mean, at that point, like, might as well, I guess.
Yeah. They knew we'd waited so long to see a sequel. We were going to come watch it anyway. It didn't matter if it was
Exactly.
good or
Like,
not.
who cares?
It's true.
Attempting to defend the Crystal Skull, but like,
Right.
like the Fred scene and some of the more unrealistic stuff, like this movie's got some pretty unrealistic stuff in it.
Yeah.
And I mean, Temple of Doom had some really unrealistic stuff in it.
True.
So it's not like the world of being like them like reading through all of the stuff yesterday after I was done watching the movie and them talking about trying to keep it grounded. You're like, did you though? Because I mean,
relative.
I guess it's grounded within that world, but I mean, there's still like some stuff that happens where you're just like, okay, I have to completely suspend my disbelief. How is this any different than Indy surviving a nuclear blast in a refrigerator?
True. True. But see, they did that at the beginning of that movie. All the weird stuff happens at the end of this one. So it kind of helped a little bit, maybe. I don't know. All right, well, you guys want to jump into casting?
Yeah.
Let's keep this train rolling. So, of course, some of these we've talked about in the previous episodes. So, but we'll talk about Harrison Ford, of course, as Henry Indiana Jones Jr. Ford said he loved the idea of introducing Indiana's father because it allowed him to explore another side to Indiana's personality. And I also talked about, it wasn't in my notes, but Harrison Ford, a lot of the people that were involved in the first two felt like there wasn't enough character development that had happened in the previous movies, so they really wanted more character development in this one, which helped with the father and son stuff. Of course, River Phoenix played the younger Indiana Jones. Phoenix had portrayed the son of Ford's character in The Mosquito Coast in 1986. Ford recommended Phoenix for the part. He said that of the young actors working at the time, Phoenix looked the most like him when he was around that age. And then Phoenix said that while he was preparing for the role, he didn't really base his portrayal on Indiana Jones' character, but on Harrison Ford himself. So he observed Ford out of character before acting his part, which I thought was hilarious because he's got it down. I mean, from the beginning, you're like, I mean, he's got the mannerisms and like the cadence of his voice. Like he did a really good job of that. So he was very believable as a young Indiana Jones. So. And what I did not know is that he was offered the part in the TV series, but didn't want to return to television. So that's why it was recast. But
man, I like that kind of continuity. I would have liked to have seen him as Indy, but I get it,
Yeah. I think I've tried to go back and watch the Young Indiana Jones series. I know I watched it like when it came out, but I haven't been able to get into it again since I've gotten older. I don't know.
I haven't been able to find it. Like I've been trying to find the stream. Like it's not streaming anywhere. I'm sure YouTube probably has it, but
yeah, it was on Disney for a minute.
Yeah.
So Disney Plus. So maybe they
Not
took
anymore.
it off. Yeah. Because when they got all the Indiana Jones, like when Disney bought Fox or whatever, and they were able to bring it over to Disney Plus, they had all of it on there, and that's when I tried to watch it then. So maybe they'll bring it back again. I don't know. So,
didn't Harrison Ford actually cameo in it?
I want to say I think he did, or he did like a voiceover or something in like the first episode or something. So,
like he had a beard or something like that. Trying to remember.
The guy who played him was a different actor, I think.
The one
who was like supposed to be the 100-year-old Indiana who was telling the story of him as a kid. I think that was a different actor, though.
I don't remember. It's been too long.
I don't either.
Okay.
It could be.
Sidebar. All right, so moving on. So we got Sean Connery, who we talked about in previous episodes like The Untouchables. But Spielberg had Connery in mind when he suggested introducing Indiana's father, though he did not tell Lucas at first. Consequently, Lucas wrote the role as a crazy, eccentric professor resembling Laurence Olivier, whose relationship with Indiana was more of a strict schoolmaster and student rather than a father and a son. Spielberg had been a fan of Connery's work as James Bond and felt that no one else could perform the role as well. Spielberg's biographer, Joseph McBride, wrote, Connery was already the father of Indiana Jones, since the series had sprung from the desire of Lucas and Spielberg to rival and outdo Connery's James Bond films. Connery, who had not wanted to do major franchise films since working on James Bond, found those roles dull and wanted to avoid paparazzi attention. He initially turned down the role, and also he was only 12 years older than Harrison Ford, but eventually relented. Connery, a student of history, began to reshape the character, and revisions were made to the script to address his concerns. He said he wanted to play Henry Jones as kind of a Richard Burton. He said, I was bound to have fun with the role of a gruff Victorian Scottish father. Connery believed Henry should be a match for his son, telling Spielberg that whatever Indy had done, his character had done, and had done it much better.
But did you get that out of his performance, that that character had done stuff like that?
Some of it, because he was an
some of
expert
it, yeah.
on like the Grail and ancient languages, and so in like that respect, for sure. Also in the Elsa respect, I suppose, as well. But you know,
well, she talks in her sleep.
She talks in her sleep.
That's right. But like some of the
too.
actiony stuff, not really. Although he does come up, I guess, with the solution to the plane, you know, with the birds. But
yeah,
some of the other stuff, it felt like he was out of his depth, you know. So I don't know.
Yeah. Speaking of that line, she talks in her sleep. That was improvised by Sean Connery. And they actually had to like do a different take because when he ad-libbed it, everyone busted out laughing. And Spielberg said, "We're keeping that in." In the original script, he was supposed to find out that he had slept with her much later in the story, but it was too good. They were like, "We're keeping that in," so they had to shoot it again with him doing the line. So
I didn't trust her. Why did you?
Yeah.
Why did you?
It's gonna be all night. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Right.
That's okay.
What could I say? We're two ships passing in the night, or whatever it was. I just think it's funny. He slaps Indiana Jones for saying Jesus Christ as being blasphemous, but he's slept with a woman half his age out of wedlock. So, you know, pick
even more so, which I'm
Nobody's
sure you'll get to when you
nerfed,
get
I
to
guess.
her.
I thought this was interesting. Harrison Ford and Sean Connery passed up 3 subsequent opportunities to work together again after this movie. Connery accepted the role of the Hunt for Red October in 1990, but Ford declined the role of Jack Ryan, which went to Alec Baldwin instead. Later, Ford took over the role in Patriot Games. Ford and Connery declined the role of Alan Grant and John Hammond, respectively, in Jurassic Park in 1993.
Wow.
And Connery declined to come back from retirement to reprise the role of Henry Jones Sr. in Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull in 2008, which was probably a good thing.
After League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, I don't blame him. Poor guy.
Yeah.
I like that movie.
I mean,
it's one of those good bad movies.
I understand. Yeah, I just feel like he's notorious for picking these terrible movies, right? Like he did James Bond, and then so he did James Bond, right? And then like what did he really do? He did like Zardoz and like Outland and like all this like random stuff until like this, and that kind of revitalized his career, you know, this and then Red October and things like that. But it's just funny to me that he's like, no, I'm not going to do The Matrix. I'm not going to do Lord of the Rings, but I will do League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
No to Jurassic Park, but yes to League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Yeah.
And that was Spielberg, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on. Denholm Elliott as Marcus Brody, one of my favorite characters. He returned after Spielberg sought to recapture the tone of Raiders of the Lost Ark. Of course, they also made him a little dumber in this movie than he was in the previous movies.
That's right.
Yeah, he did.
But he's so funny.
Yeah.
And then, get the giggles in while you can. Allison Doody as Dr. Elsa Schneider. That is her last name, Doddy. We all turn into Beavis and Butthead when we hear the word Doody. Yes. While the character of Elsa is in her 30s during the film, Allison was 21 when she auditioned and one of the first actresses who met for the part. German actress Gudrun Landgrabe was invited for the casting of Elsa, but was rejected by Steven Spielberg for looking too much like Amy Irving, whom he was divorcing at the time.
That's rough.
Wow.
That's rough.
Yeah.
You look like my soon-to-be ex-wife.
Yeah. You're perfect for the part, but I can't hire you because I'm not going to look at someone who looks like my ex-wife for this.
Wow.
Yeah. So there was also another actress that was like in the running, but I didn't remember her name and she didn't come up. She did stuff much later, but yeah, she didn't get it. But she was interesting. Like I thought she would have done more after this movie, but she really didn't. She was in a few other small things, but nothing big.
Yeah.
Then you got John Rhys Davies as Salah. Like Elliot, he was returned was also an attempt to recapture the spirit of Raiders of the Lost Ark. Julian Glover as Walter Donovan. Of course, if you're keen eye, you know he previously appeared as General Veers in Lucas's The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
He originally auditioned for the role of Vogel. Glover, who is English, adopted an American accent for the film, but said was dissatisfied with the results. So he actually doesn't like his performance in this movie. But yeah,
I like it. I
He was
thought
great.
he did great.
it was. Yeah, I thought it was
I
good.
say,
Yeah.
I honestly didn't even catch that the accent wasn't American.
Yeah. It has a little bit of a hint every once in a while, but because he's working with the Germans, I just kind of let it slide, I guess. But yeah, and then we've got Michael Byrne as Ernst Vogel, the brutal SS officer. I put him down because Byrne and Ford had previously starred in Force 10 from Navarone in 1978, in which they also respectively played a German and an American. So they're used to fighting even before this. And then the character named Fedora in the credits, played by Richard Young, was in the script originally named Abner Ravenwood. Why?
Ooh.
Because he was supposed to be Marion Ravenwood's father and Indiana's mentor, who was mentioned in Raiders of the Lost Ark and later in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
That would have been cool.
Yeah. I like that idea. I thought that
Yeah.
would have been a nice little nod.
Yeah.
And then Sir Laurence Olivier, widely considered to be the greatest British actor of the 20th century, was briefly considered to play the Grail Knight, but he was too ill to commit to the role and died shortly after the movie's release in 1989. I forgot to go back and look at it, but I'm almost 100% sure. And if I'm wrong, then our listeners or viewers can let me know. Send us an email, info@80sflickflashback.com. I think the same actor that played the Grail Knight is the same guy that plays the waiter in Scrooged. That says when Bill Murray's having a little breakdown, he thinks he sees the eyeball in the glass. You know which part we're talking about? In Scrooged?
Yes.
He's
He thinks the other waiter catches on fire.
Yeah. So I think it's because he's like,
No, I think he's
he
talking
says a
about
line like,
are you he? That
not
guy?
the way that's on fly. Yeah, the he, yeah.
Yeah.
No, who is he? Or yeah, this is that guy. Am I right? Jerry's looking it up.
It's not on his Wikipedia page. I mean, it could be on IMDb, but I don't see it.
I meant to look it up and I forgot, but
I don't think
They
that's
do
him
look
though.
similar.
Like
I'll
it
give
doesn't
you
ring a
that.
bell.
it was the voice that got me though. And then I was like, oh, he does kind of look like him just with they made him look older with the beard and stuff. But I was like, that voice, I was even going to say, yeah, whatever that line is, who is he or is it he? I can't think of the line.
No,
now.
it's not. It's
Oh no. Okay. Well, that's his
Sorry.
doppelganger. Way to burst my bubble, Jerry. But
Well, he
everybody,
did
it's
do-
Jerry's last appearance on the podcast. I'm just kidding.
Now,
Never
now
disagree with your host. Never. I'm just kidding.
he did
No.
play Jacob Marley's ghost in a 1990 TV A Christmas Carol.
That's what it was. I'm just kidding.
and he
had
also
no
played
idea.
Santa Claus
Wow, if
in
you'd
an
have been like,
episode
"That's
of
what
The
it was."
Charmings.
The Charmings. I remember that show.
The Snow White, yeah. The sitcom,
Yeah.
yes.
Yep. Yeah.
Fiddlesticks. Mommy, Daddy said the F word. That's the only joke I remember from that show. It was like the very first episode. And I remember like, Fiddlesticks, she said the F word. And I just thought that was hilarious anyway. So moving on. All right. So anybody else from the cast that you want to mention? Or did I cover the
I think
the
that's pretty
highlights,
much
I think?
everybody. Those are all the important parts, right?
Nobody I was going to add. So
All right. This is this one's gonna be tough. Iconic scene. I hope you've got one written down already. Let's start with Jerry. If someone says Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, what's the first scene that comes to mind?
He chose poorly. when Donovan picks the wrong Grail and
Mm-hmm.
withers and ages and turns to dust and ash and skeletons. It's
But technically he did not pick it.
well, that's
Elsa
true.
picked it.
Alice and
Elsa
Judy,
did.
yeah, Elsa picked it, but yeah,
Yeah, duty.
sorry, but yeah, I mean, that's
Yeah.
like he chose just the night looking up at Indy and just being like he chose
Mhm.
poorly. I mean,
Yeah.
we've said that, like my family and I've said that for everything, like since then. Like we say it
Mhm.
all the time. So
For sure.
yeah, most iconic for sure.
Mhm. All right, Chad, what do you got? Iconic scene.
Well, Jerry stole mine.
I think
That's
that's
Sorry.
I think
That's all of ours.
yeah, I think that would put them in all of ours.
Just
but
gosh, that whole ending where he's going through the three challenges, and
mhm.
but I guess my favorite would be just that little short when Indy and Sean Connery are in the blimp. And they're having a discussion, and he's like, about being a father, and he's like, I let you do whatever you wanted. Did I tell you to go to bed? Did I tell you to do all these things? No.
Did I tell you to wash up?
That was
Do your homework?
yeah. Brush your teeth. Yeah. That was really good, and you saw him be like, he wasn't the action hero. That's what made this work, as you were talking about in the beginning, that this made it more human. Like he was having a conversation with his dad.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
and if if your dad was the same situation, you would have a similar conversation with your dad like this. So, so yeah, I like that one a lot. And the beach, the umbrella.
The umbrella.
I do that all the time. If I have an umbrella and I'm on the beach, I'm chasing birds. That's I remember my Charlemagne. Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
All right, Nicholas,
Sorry.
what about you? Iconic scene aside from what's been mentioned?
Yeah, aside from, because I had written down like all three trials, not just the one, but I think the other iconic scene for me is that like when Indiana meets up with Henry for the first time, like halfway through the movie, like just
In the castle.
like the castle, like breaking in with a fake Scottish accent, then breaking the fake Ming vase, and then being tied up and like getting in the fireplace,
Dad.
Yeah, just that whole it's just like once they meet up, it's like the ball just gets rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely jumps to it, like everything accelerates at that point. Like it's moving at a good pace at that point, but once Henry Sr. is on the scene, it becomes its own it's a different type of adventure that kind of separates it, because the first part feels like your typical Indiana Jones movie, and then when he comes in, he kind of like flips a script where it's like this banter and the comedy and stuff. So, and the heart with him, you can tell he really wants to impress his dad. Like when he's doing all the stuff in the motorcycle chase, and he's like looking at his dad, like, and Henry Sr.'s giving him no kind of like his just deadpan face. And it's like, what can I do to like, impress you? So yeah, for me, iconic, of course, you chose poorly or you chose wisely. We've said it a million times. The other one for me is the scene where he's on the tank, and the tank is about to go over, and for the first time, his hat blows off, even though it was stuck to his head while it was being pressed up against the tank rotors or whatever. So, but yeah, just I remember that the first time, like, oh my gosh, his hat fell off. It finally happened. No.
Didn't they staple it to his head or something?
No, I had that in my notes there. Like he was having a hard time keeping it on during some of those scenes. They had tried different types of glue and tape. And there's a shot of him like jokingly using a staple gun, like trying to staple it on, but it wasn't real.
I've seen that.
Yeah. So urban myth, but
Gotcha.
All right. So now the really hard part, favorite scenes, which I know we have many.
All right. Yeah, I'm
Go
sure
ahead, Jerry.
we all have the same. Yeah. I got to say this. When X marks the spot and he grabs a stanchion and tries to break it. And the librarian is stamping the books at the same time, and the sound just like perfectly coincide. It's amazing.
Yeah. The librarian looks
Chad.
like Albert Einstein.
It's okay.
There's plenty to choose from.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Who else?
I got one of my favorite scenes is they're on the blimp. It's not the conversation that Chad spoke of, but the guy's coming up and looking for tickets.
Yes.
And him and Harrison Ford get in a fight, and they start, and then he like punches him and like shoves him out the window, and he turns around and goes, "He didn't have a ticket," and everybody whips out their ticket.
Yeah.
That's a great one.
Yep. I really enjoy all the action scenes, like the boat scene. The boat chase scene is probably one of my favorites. The motorcycle chase scene, the tank scene, to me feels a little overdone. Like it just, and you go in the notes, like that was supposed to be a much shorter scene, but Spielberg kept adding, like everything come up with different ideas and they kept adding to it. So it goes a little long for me. And it's also kind of similar because there's also a tank scene in the first in Raiders of the Lost Ark too. So it kind of, I kind of get those two mixed up sometimes, but I love the motorcycle scene. I love the boat scene. I love the opening sequence with the young Indy. You know, when he comes out of the cave, he's like, "Everybody's lost but me." Like that is Indiana Jones. Like that was a perfect line. But yeah, and then of course, you know, him going through the three trials to get to the Grail are so good. You know, the penitent man will pass. You know, the word of God, Jehovah starts with an I, in Greek, and then of course the leap of faith. Which I just thought was it was so cool back then. It looks a little cartoonish now, like going back and looking at the effects, but yeah. But for 1989, it's not bad.
And that was some impressive technology from like, prehistory or whatever, you know, building in invisible bridges back in, the single digits or whatever year it was they built.
Right. And then do they, like, when he breaks the letters that are wrong, does somebody come back and like put new letters there so that the next person knows that they're not supposed to? Anyway,
but also,
I'm trying to talk about logic too much.
What is stabilizing those letters? You know, like, is it just these really tall pillars that real thin?
I think so.
Yeah. And I did read like the leap of faith, like the bridge in the original script, in one of the scripts, it wasn't like hidden, like it wasn't already there. It was supposed to be a lever that let the bridge down up the part of the lion, but they ended up changing it. Like I think Lucas's group, the Industrial Light and Magic, they ended up ILM. They ended up doing the special effects for that portion. So, which is kind of rough because there's one shot when it's moving and he's walking across. He's actually walking like on the very edge. Like he's not in the middle of the bridge. He's like right on his left foot like is like hitting the very edge of the bridge. Anyway, that little piece always bothers me when I see that. But anyway, the other scene, which, you know, I didn't really want to talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it. The only like really big scene where I'm like, it, you know, how, like, make it make sense is, let me
Meeting
find
Hitler?
it. No. Even though that part too was like, watching it again, it's like, I know he had to go there to get the book back from Elsa, but like him coming face to face with Hitler was kind of like, okay, it's the third one you're always fighting. You know, well, that's not the third time fighting the Nazis, but you know, it's like one of his biggest enemies.
Right. Yeah. But up the stakes.
It was like, yeah. Okay, here we go. When Indiana's bag is caught on the tank's gun and is being dragged along the wall, no stuntman was used. Harrison Ford did it himself. The crew just went along with shovels, tipping dirt and clay on him from above. That's not the part. During the fight on the tank, when Indy falls and is hooked on the gun, it never shows how his strap actually became wrapped around the gun. And also, when he climbs back aboard the tank, it doesn't show how it got loose either. And that scene always bothers me. I'm like, how did it get around? Like, because that's the gun that's like a spread out because Indy put the rock in it. So, like, how did it even get on there? And then how did he get it off? So, anyway, that's my continuity issue. But
he's Indiana Jones.
I don't know if I ever paid attention to that.
Yeah. That's the problem watching these movies 100 times because you pick up on stuff like that. The first time I watched it, I didn't care. Yeah. But when you've seen it 50 or 100 times, it's like, wait a minute. How did he even get stuck like that? Okay.
I tell you, it was really nice seeing Sala again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's such a good character. I love the scene with him and Marcus. Run. What's that? Yeah, you want to see my papers? My papers right here. Run. You know, it's like, how many times do you have to say run before Marcus is actually going to run? And then, of course, him running into the, what looks like a market is the back of the Nazi truck, which was a nod to the scene with Marion and the original Raiders when she moves into something that's also a facade as well. So,
yeah, I love John Rhys Davies. He's fantastic.
Oh yeah,
I was a huge fan of Sliders. So
yes,
and Gimli.
He was good on
Gimli,
that show.
yeah, another iconic character. Well. Yeah.
Yes. I think, and I could be wrong, but I feel like the beginning with the young Indiana Jones was a lead up to the 3 trials that he had on the train he would face later. Because, you know, he had the thing with the snakes, he did the one with the rhino, and then he did the one with the lion before.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. That's true.
So, like, he did 3 things on the train, kind of foreshadowing he would do the 3 things later at the Petra.
Being that this is still the era where most of the movie is done practical.
Yes.
Most of the special effects, for the most part, hold up. There's some that are a little, but a lot of the circus train special effects kind of didn't hold up as well. But I mean, I can easily see why that part of the movie was so well done, even though it doesn't really hold up. That they're like, let's do a whole TV series of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, even though we had to go with Sean Patrick Flannery over River Phoenix, but you know, I mean, you know, like we said earlier, like, you know, I don't know how well that series holds up, but I definitely get like watching that going, we need to do more of that.
Yeah.
I do remember
I liked his versions better, the ones with the little kids.
The little kids.
The little kid one, there was like 2 of them. One with Patrick Flannery, whatever his name is. And then there was one with like a little kid.
Yeah, a little
like
kid. Yeah, I do remember that.
Sorry, Jerry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I remember when the show was announced, and I was a little bummed that it wasn't actually like Harrison Ford's Indiana Jones. I was like, oh, he's a kid? Come on. I just wanted more content.
Of course. Yeah. Of course. All right, well, let's jump into some other scenes and trivia. I have a lot. I'm probably going to put more in the show notes. In the beginning of the movie, when Professor Henry Indiana Jones Jr. is teaching his class, he says, if it's truth you're interested in, Dr. Tyree's philosophy class is right down the hall. This is a reference to Ford's own professor. Ford was a philosophy major, Dr. William E. Tyree at Ripon College in Ripon, Wisconsin? Help me out, Nicholas. R-I-P-O-N?
Ripon.
It is Ripon?
Yeah.
Okay. No disrespect to Ripponites in Wisconsin.
Riponians.
Like
that's what they're called.
You won't
I don't know. I mean,
as long as they have a Culver's, that's okay.
Guaranteed they got a Culver's, but
yeah.
So this movie has the most chase sequences of Indiana Jones movie with 6 different types of chases. Foot chase, train, boat, motorcycle, plane, and car. This is also the only movie in the franchise to have a boat chase or a train chase, that is, until the 5th installment, The Dial of Destiny. I did like this. The temple at the end of the movie does exist, but it's not in Alexandretta. It is in Petra, Jordan. However, there is no inside to it. The doorway seen on screen is huge. 8 or 9 people shoulder to shoulder can easily walk through it, but it only leads to a huge empty square room carved from the top down over 2 stories high. Similarly, they wouldn't be able to get lost down the valley as it stretches for about a mile or so, and there's no other route but out. Steven Spielberg and his crew were guests at the royal palace of King Hussein and Queen Noor during their shoot in Jordan, and Spielberg was even brought to the temple by Queen Noor and her children.
Wow.
I found this to be very interesting. There is actually a reason for having 2 separate blades for decapitating Grail seekers at the climax. The first one would behead someone who didn't kneel, while the second would behead someone who pressed his head to the ground. A Christian would kneel, while a Muslim would press his head to the ground. This ensured that only a Christian could make it to the Grail and not a Muslim. I was like, that was interesting. I never would have thought of that.
Yeah, I always wondered what that second one was for. Yeah.
And until I read it, I was like, wow, I never would have thought that. But like, they thought that out, and I was like, wow, that's kind of actually impressive. Like,
yeah,
they put some real time and effort into their research.
But then he did like a flip over it too, right? When
he
the
did,
other
he totally did,
out.
Yeah. It's like, Harrison, you didn't have to do that,
right? And
yeah.
Somebody, I mean, am I the only one? The blades were cartoons, right? Like they did look like cartoon blades.
Yeah, something was off with them. Yeah, for sure.
It's like when I watch it now, I'm like, how did this become Roger Rabbit all of a sudden? Anyway,
it's Wile E. Coyote. They're the
block the
Acme Blade Company.
Speaking about practical effects, the shot of Donovan's death was created over 3 months by morphing together 3 puppets of Donovan in separate stages of decay, a technique that ILM mastered on Willow in 1988. A 4th puppet was used for the decaying clothes because the puppet's torso mechanics had been exposed. Complications arose when Allison Duty's double had not been filmed for the scene's latter 2 elements, so the background and hair from the first shot had to be used throughout, with the other faces mapped over it. Donovan's skeleton was hung on wires like a marionette. It required several takes to film it crashing against the wall because not all the pieces released upon impact. So that, 45-second scene, maybe a minute and a half scene took 3 months to put together. And I do like this because I always thought this was a cool thing. Baking soda was applied to Sean Connery to create Henry's bullet wound. Vinegar was applied to create the foaming effect as the water from the Grail washes over it. I always thought that was a cool effect for the little bubbles and stuff. So that's baking soda and vinegar. So next time you want to freak out your parents or, freak out, maybe, or freak out, have friends come over at Halloween. I've been shot. Pour some water on me, and it's vinegar, and watch it go. Anyway. And this will be my last little trivia thing. I just thought this was cool. Cool way to bring. I did not realize this until I read this. Indiana's father is sketching in his Grail diary and asks, "May he who illuminated this illuminate me." At the end of the movie, Indiana asks him, "What did you find, Dad?" And his father replies, "Illumination." And I never put those 2 lines together from the beginning and the end. So I just thought that was a cool, very cool line to end on. All right, box office. The film was released in the United States and Canada on Wednesday, May 24th, 1989, earning a record $37 million over the 4-day Memorial Day weekend. And of course, owning the #1 spot at the box office. There were no other new releases that weekend. And why would you? You're going up against Indiana Jones.
That's just suicide there.
Yeah. But it came out before, the other big ones for that year had not come out yet. So Batman hadn't come out yet. Lethal Weapon 2 hadn't come out. Ghostbusters 2 hadn't come out. So I think Rain Man was already out. And I can't remember who else was. I looked at the top 10 list and it wasn't really big movies. Those were the spring movies that were trying to get out before the blockbuster season of the summer. So, but yeah, that was the official first blockbuster of '89 and became the highest grossing movie. I think Batman won in the U.S., but for international, Indiana Jones and Last Crusade beat out Batman. So,
which makes sense. It's a more international movie. There's exotic locales. I mean, all over. You go to Venice. There's German or Austria. All sorts of other. So it makes sense.
All right, it's time to take a look at how well this 80s flick holds up today. The all-new rewatchability and nostalgia meter is our way of measuring how enjoyable a movie is for repeat viewings, along with the waves of nostalgia it brings. Here's how it works. It's a 1 to 10 scale. Any number between 1 and 10 will do. Here are a few parameters to help you decide. At the bottom of the meter is a number 1, which means I saw it once and that was all I could handle. Right in the middle at a 5 is a good rewatch every couple of years, and the highly coveted top of the meter at 10 is highly rewatchable and full of nostalgia. So let's start with Gerry. Where does Indiana Jones and Last Crusade rank for you on the nostalgia rewatchability meter?
Definitely huge. So I can't quite decide between a 9 or a 10. I love this movie. I watch it, like I said, at least once every 1 year or 2 years for sure, but sometimes once a year. So it's somewhere around 9 or 10. I'll say 9.5. Just
okay.
Yeah, just because I can't decide. So I'll split the difference.
Yeah, I like that. What about you, Nicholas?
I'm going to give it a good solid 8.
Okay.
I mean, it's really good. I really enjoy it. I mean, I enjoy Indiana Jones as a whole, but I don't, it's just, I've got so many other movies I watch and then I want to watch new stuff. So I will watch it, more often than other movies. So, a good solid 8.
Okay. Yep. I like it. 8's a good one. All right, Chad, what you got?
I'm right there with Gerry. It's 9.5 for me. I will watch this. I'll watch this anytime if you put it on. I'm going to sit there and watch this movie. I love this movie. I've loved it since I first watched it. I really wish my parents would have let me go on to see it in the theater.
That's so
Not that
wild.
yeah. Well, they were sticklers for that for some reason. Like rated PG-13 movies like had just started too.
Right,
Like,
right.
That
Yeah.
wasn't like a thing like a couple of years before that.
Yeah, but I will say, like, when it first started, it got real. They didn't really know where the parameters were, so there was a lot of
Yeah.
That's
PG-13
true.
that was like borderline,
Oh yeah.
you know. So I could see them being a little skeptical, but
And you're
And
right.
Temple
Temple
of
of Doom, was scarier. Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah,
well, and Temple of Doom was one of the movies that created the
yeah,
PG.
exactly.
Exactly.
Yep.
So yeah, definitely 9.5 for me.
Yeah, I was ready to give it a 10. I mean, this was going to be like the first one that I've given a 10 to on the podcast. And then I heard myself say, it's been a couple of years since I watched this all the way through. So it's
I
not
heard you
one that
say
I
that.
watch all the time. So I'm going to give it a very strong 9, probably close to like a 9.5, like you guys have said. But as I said before, it's my favorite of the Indiana Jones movies. I like Raiders. Raiders is a little slow to get started. It takes a little while. It has a great beginning, but it kind of lulls a little bit in the middle. But rewatching this one, it gives me all of those summer blockbuster is like a true popcorn flick, like something you just go to, you just want to escape and have a good time. And I will say this is the first movie that I watched. My wife got me a video projector and screen like for outdoors.
That's
For
cool.
Christmas, and I had it hanging up on our back balcony for a little while, but it's summer and the bugs, mosquitoes, even with like the little anti-bug things
Right.
around, I was never able to finish a movie out there. So we have kind of an unfinished basement downstairs. So I decided to I think it'll fit. So I put the screen on the wall. I set up everything. We had an old couch. So my man cave is becoming a reality. And this was the first movie I watched from beginning to
Nice.
end on my big screen. And it was kind of like, hey, this is almost like going to the theater. This is kind of nice.
Yeah.
So it was it was fun to watch like on a really big screen. Again, it's that type of movie that you want to see on like the biggest screen possible for sure. So I'll go with 9. If you twist my arm, a 9.5, but I think everybody's pretty accurate there. So.
I will say, of all the Indiana Jones movies, this is the one I have seen the most often.
Yes,
Same.
I would agree with that.
Same.
Yeah.
Like you're right. Raiders is great, but this one just really gets into the characters more, especially and it's because of that relationship between Indy and his dad. And so I think for me that because of that, like you said, it kind of just brings it up, just edges it out slightly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I do like how all the
agree.
films kind of start off with like this cold open, like from a previous adventure. You know, it's just it's really interesting. It's like I like that it's consistent and it makes you like realize Indy gets around. This guy is just he does a lot of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it was like they were pulling from like the old serials at the time,
Right.
like making it like those. And you see that especially like there are a couple of scenes in this one at the beginning with them where they were pulling the River Phoenix up out of the lion one or whatever, and like how they pull him out really fast. Like that reminds me of like an old kind of a like serial kind of old movie, kind of the way it was filmed. So, but yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Gerry D. Thanks, Nicholas. Thanks, Chad, for joining this episode. Gerry D, Totally Rad Christmas. It's Christmas in July. What do you guys got going on?
So for Christmas in July, we talked, let's see, Better Homes and Gardens. We talked Lupin the Third, Part 2, Beverly Hills Teens. I don't know if you remember that cartoon. There was, let's see, one that's coming up is MTV's Headbangers Ball. Like they had a Christmas.
All right.
Ooh.
A Headbangers Christmas from 1988 and Mr. Dress Up, which was like a Canadian Mr. Rogers. And so a few things. Yeah. Pretty excited. Got some fun stuff coming up.
Very cool. Nicholas, what's going on over at Pop Culture Roulette for July? I'll just
doing
figuring it out week by week.
Figuring out week by week anything and everything we want to talk about. We talk about it and just have a lot of brackets, games. We try to amuse ourselves, and hopefully we're amusing everybody along with it. So if you want to find us, Pop Culture Roulette on Facebook or Instagram or anywhere you can get your podcast.
Definitely check out Totally Rad Christmas and Pop Culture Roulette for sure. And then Chad, still the afternoon DJ at the radio station?
I sure am. Yep, still there. And if any of your viewers, listeners are in the McDonough area, I do want to give a shout out. We mentioned Culver's. My wife and I host a game group that meets the second and fourth Monday so tomorrow from our recording, not when it's released, but second and fourth Monday of the month. We have a game night. It's called Game Night Bites. You can go to GameNightBites.com to check it out. My wife did a great job with the website, and we're excited. We're trying to expand it, and it's at the Culver's in McDonough, Georgia. So if anybody is in the area, come on by, play a game, have some food, and yeah. That's the only thing I can shout out. So
that's good. I love Culver's. Give me the cheese dipping sauce for my fries, and I'm a happy man.
It's tomorrow. Well, again, I know this will come out later, but from this recording, it is tomorrow. So
all right, cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining. Always a pleasure to have all three of you guys on the show. If you enjoyed this episode, first of all, where does Indiana Jones Last Crusade rank for you on the nostalgia and rewatchability meter? You can send us an email at 80s Flick Flashback, info@80sflickflashback.com. Reach out to us on Instagram or Facebook, and you can also leave a message or write a note here on YouTube, as it's on here as well. I'm getting tired, I can tell. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Be sure to follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode. Jump online and visit the website 80sflickflashback.com and our TeePublic store for some awesome 80s Flick Flashback merch and original designs. We just launched a new collection of designs inspired by previous episodes like Caddyshack, UHF, and Weird Science. Thanks everybody for listening. Thanks guys for joining. I'm Tim Williams for the 80s Flick Flashback Podcast. Venice.
You call this archaeology?